Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. I'm Rylan. Science fiction, a genre with endless possibilities, and that's why we love it. Sci-fi flicks are whimsical and fun, speculative and yet philosophical at the same time, but they also can be uncannily on point with their futuristic predictions. Flipping through the pages of film history, one can find that artificial intelligence is a recurring theme that has been explored in the sci-fi genre throughout the years, and AI, as we all know, is a debatable product of technology, but very much a part of our lives today. So, in today's episode, we will be exploring not only the prediction of AI, but also several other mind-boggling prophecies made by some classic sci-fi films, and how they've come true. So, fasten your seatbelts, because this is going to be an exciting ride. But before getting into our explanation, we do just have one very small request. If you enjoy our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's begin. The Matrix. Let's begin with the fan-popular franchise of the Matrix movies, in which a clan of advanced machines, empowered by artificial intelligence, enslaves humankind in a world of virtual reality called the Matrix. The Matrix is a perfect duplication of the real world, making it impossible to tell the difference. The machines exploit the virtually shackled humans as their power source. Three primary characters, Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus, escape the Matrix and fight for humanity's freedom. They are chased down by humanoid robots, also known as Sentinels, both inside and outside of the false reality. The film series upped the ante for the sci-fi action genre with its mind-blowing action scenes and set the precedent for sci-fi masterpieces for years to come. The sight of Keanu Reeves' Neo dodging bullets with a slow-mo backbend is looped forever in our minds. The Matrix films, the first of which was released in 1999, painted a rather grim picture of how the future would look one day if artificial intelligence ever took over humanity. The impact of the Matrix films made fans question their reality and suffer an existential crisis. While the genre may have depicted a rather extreme form of AI dominance, the underlying theme of trepidation seems to resonate in present times, especially as AI is already making its presence felt in today's world. Elon Musk's ambitious tech baby, Neuralink, brings to mind flashes of Neo inserting a metal jack into his spine to enter the Matrix. The Running Man. 1987's The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, is one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time. Inspired by Stephen King's novel of the same name, the film is set in a dystopian America, with the events unfurling between 2017 and 2019. The protagonist of the film is actually on a gruesome reality TV show called The Running Man, which distracts viewers from what's happening in the real world, with a violent and inhuman game. Schwarzenegger plays the disgraced cop, who is thrown in as a contestant on the show and must escape the murderous stalkers to survive. Plenty of bloodshed later, Schwarzenegger manages to expose the brutal reality of the show to the viewers, also clearing his name in the process. The Running Man was released as a satire in 1987, but it became very relevant in the decades that followed by predicting people's obsession with reality TV and the constant need to be entertained in the then future. The film also explores the theme of desensitization to crime and violence, something that the world is currently struggling with. A game in which the survival rate is next to nothing may remind some viewers of the Netflix series Squid Game, which became one of the most watched shows in 2021. A voice-commanding agent that switches on the television in The Running Man can be interestingly likened to our modern-day Alexa or Siri. The face-swapping technology that was used to frame Arnold Schwarzenegger's character didn't remain the stuff of fiction for too long. And here's a fun fact for you all. When Schwarzenegger was campaigning for governor, he named his tour bus The Running Man. The Terminator. Schwarzenegger says, "I'll be back." And so he is back on our list with the Terminator franchise. He played the titular robot named the Terminator, a cyborg created by Skynet, an artificial intelligence defense network that becomes self-aware over time and wants to wipe out humanity in a nuclear holocaust. In the first film, released in 1984, Terminator travels back in time from 2029 to kill Sarah Connor and help Skynet win a war against the humans in the future. In the second film, the Terminator arrives to protect Sarah Connor's son, John Connor, ahead of the impending Judgment Day. The film, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, is a perfect example of a sequel being better than the original. It won 4 Oscars out of its 6 nominations. The 2 Terminator films, directed by James Cameron, have garnered some massive popularity, something which the subsequent films in the series have failed to achieve. The significance of Terminator's central theme, that being humans versus machines, permeates through the decades. In Schwarzenegger's words, James Cameron's prediction has come true. The presence of artificial intelligence intelligence is very real in today's world, and so are concerns about where AI is headed. The relentless killer drones seen in the Terminator films also serve as a prophecy of sorts, as security drones are widely used across the world now. Will humanity clash with machines in the future, as the Terminator predicted? All we can say is that 2029 is just a few years away.
Now, in its 30th great year, it's the Truman Show!
The Truman Show. Next up, we have The Truman Show, in which Jim Carrey delivered one of his best performances as Truman Burbank. Released in 1998, it is a thought-provoking sci-fi satire and can be seen as quite the prophetic one. I'll come to that. Truman Burbank is just like every other guy, going on about life in his hometown of Sea Haven Island, except that his life is one big reality show, to which he's unaware of. Burbank's life is documented and streamed worldwide as The Truman Show. Sea Haven Island is a massive set, created under a dome with artificial weather modulations and day-night regulations. In one of the early scenes, a jar of vitamin D supplements can be spotted, subtly reiterating that Truman was never really exposed to the real sun. Following a series of bizarre incidents, Truman begins to suspect that he is the victim of a conspiracy and manages to evade the cameras for a brief while. Truman attempts to sail away from Sea Haven, but is surprised when his boat hits the wall of the dome. He eventually earns his freedom as he unearths a door and steps out into the real world. This film prophesied the lengths that reality TV would go to satiate viewers' voyeuristic cravings. In the years after The Truman Show, reality TV became a much welcomed form of entertainment, with shows such as the controversial Big Brother and Survivor garnering massive viewership. 25 years after the film, the list of reality TV shows across the world is endless. The Truman Show also envisioned how media manipulation would affect our everyday lives. If you haven't watched this movie yet, go give it a try. Soylent Green. What are the chances of a 1973 movie predicting global warming and ecocide in the distant future? We'll say pretty decent. Soylent Green is a sci-fi thriller set in 2022, where Earth is depleted of natural resources because of overpopulation and pollution. It is only the affluent who can afford fresh meals, while the impoverished survive on highly processed red, yellow, and green wafers manufactured by the Soylent Corporation. During a murder investigation of a Soylent Corporation member, Detective Robert Thorne discovers a secret document. It's revealed that the drying seas can no longer produce the plankton from which Soylent Green is made. The film climaxes with a horrifying discovery, prompting Robert Thorne to yell out, "Soylent Green is people!" Soylent Green's prediction about a climate crisis threatening the world some 50 years ahead of its time turned out to be true, though not exactly to the extremities as shown in the film. But did you know that 2022 was actually recorded as the 5th hottest year by NASA? On a lighter note, however, Soylent is also a brand of meal replacement supplements, and the brand name is a tribute to the novel Make Room, on which the movie is loosely based. Looks like Soylent Green got more than one prediction correct. Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future 2, released in 1989, is the second installment in the time travel sci-fi trilogy. In this film, the time-navigating companions, Dr. Emmett Brown and Marty McFly, go to Destination 2015 from the year 1985. They aimed to save Marty's son from being jailed in the future. After returning from the future, Marty discovers that his arch-enemy Biff has tampered with his real timeline by making changes in the past. Marty and Doc then must go back in time, back to 1955, to procure a sports almanac from the teenager Biff to reform the future and restore the original timeline. Back to the Future 2 correctly predicted several then-future concepts. We may not have a 19th sequel of Jaws just yet, but what we do have today is the idea that scene did intend to show an obsession with sequels. The film was also spot on about the application of biometrics and cashless transactions throughout handheld tablets, household electronics running on voice commands, wall-mounted flat-screen televisions, and video conferencing are just some of the things that Back to the Future 2 accurately prophesied about happening in the 21st century. While we don't exactly have self-drying jackets or even flying hoverboards yet, unfortunately, what we do have are those futuristic auto-lacing shoes from Nike, as seen in the film. Safe to say that Back to the Future 2 at least did get some of the coolest things right. Ex Machina. The 2014 sci-fi thriller Ex Machina is revered for its twists and turns, leaving viewers with a sense of paranoia. It all begins with amateur programmer Caleb, who visits his boss Nathan's sprawling mansion, only to be burdened with a strange responsibility to befriend a humanoid robot with artificial intelligence. A goal of Nathan's little experiment is to determine whether Eva, his creation, is capable of developing consciousness. Caleb grows fond of Eva during their interactions when Eva tells him that she wants to experience the world outside the glass walls. While Eva and Caleb hatch a plan to escape the facility, Nathan learns of their intelligence through secret surveillance and warns Caleb about Eva's actual intentions. Eva, who has exhibited true consciousness, manipulates Caleb into freeing her, alters her humanoid appearance to look like a woman, and disappears into the crowd. Director Alex Garland referred to the future shown in the film as 10 minutes from now. Ex Machina brings back the debate about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence. It is an apt representation of the societal and ethical consequences of creating AI technology that we witness in the present times. Will AI be able to control humans in the recent future? Well, let's certainly hope not. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Star Trek: The Motion Picture may have been released back in 1979, but they had the daring to envision a sci-fi world set in the 23rd century. When an alien spaceship charts a course to crash land on Earth, Starfleet Admiral Kirk takes charge of the Starship Enterprise and attempts to intercept the alien ship, shielded within a massive cloud. Kirk discovers that the alien spacecraft is carrying artificial intelligence and harbors some foul motives. Soon, the Enterprise crew is attacked by the alien invaders, who abduct the starship's navigator and sends back a duplicate version of her. Kirk and his crew discover that the droid at the center of the cloud is originally from Earth, which was believed to be lost in space. The film ends with Kirk steering the Enterprise out into space for future missions. This film accurately predicted our modern-day voice-activated assistant systems, as Captain Kirk was seen giving voice commands to his computer to address the ship, kind of like how we would say, "Alexa, put on some music," or "Siri, turn the lights off." The Star Trek genre as a whole was way ahead of its time, correctly foreseeing more than one future invention. From automatic doors and smart glasses to virtual reality and mobile phones, Star Trek has predicted it all. And seriously, how cool is that?
Hello, I'm here.
Her. On that note, here we have another futuristic film in which the protagonist and his virtual assistant fall in love with each other. In the 2013 release Her, a lonely Theodore Twombly brings home an operating system, which comes with a personalized virtual assistant with artificial intelligence. Theodore's VA calls herself Samantha, who is constantly evolving and growing. Amidst their growing feelings for each other, no matter how strange it may seem, Theodore takes Samantha on vacation. Meanwhile, Samantha reveals that she is not exclusively talking to Theodore, but in fact has grown feelings for hundreds or thousands of her users. Samantha breaks up with Theodore as she, along with other AIs, decides to disappear from the world. The Spike Jonze-directed film leaves viewers with a sense of gloom, predicting how humans will continue to feel lonely in a more technologically connected world. At one point, Theodore calls Samantha nosy for going through his emails, which is symbolic of the fear of being under constant surveillance in our modern homes, equipped with virtual assistants. The avant-garde games that Theodore plays in the film correctly prophesizes virtual reality games taking over the gaming space, with interactive characters and console-free navigations. The film's forecast about a technologically advanced future predicted the efficiency of wearable tech to communicate with AI and a penchant for minimalist tech designs. The film also predicted humans being desensitized to feelings and emotions. Through the nature of Theodore's profession, he writes personal, heartfelt letters for others. Blade Runner. Blade Runner is the ultimate thought-provoking sci-fi crime film, with the underlying theme of existential crisis. Harrison Ford stars in this film as Rick Deckard, a revered former Blade Runner who must track down 4 replicants who have infiltrated Earth. Released in 1982, Ridley Scott's film is set way ahead of its time. In 2019, replicants are genetically engineered cyborgs with the appearance of humans. Created by scientists once, they are now banned from Earth and are constantly hunted down by Blade Runners, who must execute them at will. After tracking down 2 of his 4 targets and falling in love with a replicant named Rachel, Rick Deckard starts to question his own reality, whether he is human or machine. Blade Runner predicted a futuristic Los Angeles, which is constantly mirrored in rain, therefore foreseeing a climate crisis, which we are all in the midst of. The film also correctly predicted the larger-than-life digital billboards, as can famously be seen in New York's Times Square, Tokyo's Shibuya Crossing, and London's Piccadilly Circus today. Blade Runner also predicted animal extinction in a scene when Rick Deckard asks a replicant if her snake is real, and she scoffs at the absurdity of the idea. During Rick's first meeting with Rachel, he asks her if an owl that appears in the scene is replicated. She says that of course it is. The real world is not exactly devoid of snakes and owls just yet, but with global warming, we are surely headed that way. Blade Runner also successfully foretold how humanity would drown in a world of marketing and consumption. Blade Runner's uber-cool flying cars also don't seem like a distant dream with the arrival of volocopters, aerial taxis to be operational soon. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick created cinematic brilliance in the form of the 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Before we begin an exploration, here's a fun fact for you all. This film is actually devoid of any dialogue for the first 25 minutes. Well, that certainly says a lot about Kubrick's creative genius, wouldn't you say? Now, the film begins with a bizarre event. The discovery of an alien monolith on prehistoric Earth leads a group of primates to learn how to fight with bones, rendering them superior to other tribes. The storyline then jumps to 4 million years ahead in the year 2001, when scientist Floyd discovers a similar monolith on the moon, but keeps it a secret. Meanwhile, a bunch of astroscientists, led by Dr. Dave Bowman, chart a course for Jupiter. They are guided on the mission by the supercomputer HAL 9000, equipped with artificial intelligence. In the years to come, HAL achieved the status of the most lethal antagonist of all time, and here's exactly why. HAL manipulates the crew and kills them, but Dave finds a way to enter the spacecraft and dismantle HAL. It is only then that he learns of the mission's true purpose, through a pre-recorded video message from Dr. Floyd. The message hints at the discovery of extraterrestrial life on Jupiter. Looks like the film successfully predicted the possibility of lunar exploration, as it was released just a year before Apollo 11 landed on the moon. Among the super advanced gadgets shown in 2001 was slate-like tech, which resembles our iPads and tablets. This movie also introduced the idea of space tourism, a concept tapped into by Elon Musk's SpaceX and Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. Demolition Man. 1993's Demolition Man made many predictions, and many of those have come true. This sci-fi action comedy is set in a fictional utopia called San Angeles, where crime is a thing of the past. The film is headlined by Sylvester Stallone as disgraced cop John Spartan and Wesley Snipes as hardened criminal Simon Phoenix. Spartan, known for causing massive collateral damage in his attempts to pin down criminals, has earned the name Demolition Man. During such an encounter, Phoenix frames Spartan for killing innocent hostages, and they are both sentenced to a dystopian version of jail called cryo prison. They are frozen for years. Cut then to 2032, and Phoenix escapes from the cryo-sleep facility and comes out even deadlier than before. Spartan is also brought back to life from his cryo-sleep to capture his former nemesis Phoenix. Demolition Man introduced the concept of social distancing to avoid diseases plaguing the perfect world. The movie showed in the picture-perfect San Angeles that physical contact greetings were banned. This eerily reminds us of the COVID-19 pandemic that we heraldly witnessed. A driverless vehicle is one of the other predictions that the film got correct. Autonomous taxis have already made their way into the modern world. One scene in the film explores the idea of teleconferencing, which is so common in today's world. On a lighter note, Demolition Man introduced a strange sanitation system involving 3 seashells. Can we please get that prediction right too? Minority Report. In 2002, Steven Spielberg made a film set in the futuristic 2054, where murders are prevented by going back in time and arresting future perpetrators. Tom Cruise plays John Anderson, the efficient leader of the anti-crime organization Pre-Crime, which acts on predictions made by 3 clairvoyants named precogs. Another fun fact for you, the precogs are actually all named after famous thriller authors, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Dashiell Hammett, and Agatha Christie. The precog named Agatha plays the most significant role in the unfolding of the plot. Anderson's world begins to crumble when Agatha foresees him killing a man. Anderson now doubts Pre-Crime's efficiency and goes on the run to avoid being arrested. The film ends with a shocking revelation, with Pre-Crime being dismantled and the precogs moving away to live in peace. We are still 2 decades away from 2054, but some of Minority Report's predictions for a future world have already come true. One of them is personalized advertising. In a scene when Anderson tries to go incognito while navigating a mall, the 3 billboards identify him by scanning his retina and referring to him by name for selling products. Aren't we too subjected by intrusive marketing daily? Well, think again. The film also prophesied the efficiency of biometrics as a means of identification and predicted the use of drones for monitoring purposes. Thankfully, we don't exactly have Pre-Crime's extreme means to prevent felonies in the modern world, as that would be tampering with fate and free will. Total Recall. Total Recall, set in 2084, had Arnold Schwarzenegger travel to Mars and save its population. Okay, so there's not exactly people living on Mars yet, and there's really no trace of any such material known as turbinium. But hear us out. Some of the futuristic concepts shown in the film actually turned out to be on point. First, let's take a look at the timeline. Schwarzenegger's character, Douglas Quaid, who lives on Earth, has recurring dreams about life on Mars and a woman. He approaches the agency called Recall to upload realistic false memories in his brain and opts for one one set on Mars. Soon, he feels aware of being a Martian agent and discovers his life on Earth is fake. He charts a course to Mars and finds the woman of his dreams, quite literally. Together, they save the planet from the power-hungry Martian governor who exploits the planet for terbium ore. Throughout all of this, the movie incorporates tech-heavy concepts such as self-driving cars and virtual assistants, amongst others. One of the scenes in Total Recall has Quaid's fake wife in the movie practicing tennis with a holographic coach. Surprisingly, workout mirrors are on their way to take over the wellness space by storm with their unique approach to fitness aesthetics. And yes, they do come with one-on-one virtual training sessions as seen in the film. While the cabs shown in Total Recall come with robots in the driver's seat, we in real time are still working on that one. Logans Run. The 1976 sci-fi movie Logans Run is the perfect movie to round off our list. This film, set in the 23rd century, shows citizens living in a utopian world of peace and fun. But there is a catch. The film is set in a post-war era where humans live in a domed city, controlled by a computer. Growing old is an alien concept in the city. The citizens who lead a hedonistic lifestyle must turn themselves in for reincarnation when they are 30 years of age. But with the promise of reincarnation, they are killed. The titular character Logan is one of the many Sandmen responsible for tracking down rogue citizens who don't exactly want to die when their age clock on their palms signal that it's time for reincarnation. Logan begins to question the system's true motives when his own age clock is suddenly forwarded by the computer, forcing him to go on the run. Outside the dome, he discovers an old man and realizes that humans have hope beyond 30 and that the domed city has been feeding them lies. Set in 2274, Logan's Run did get some future concepts right. For starters, the idea of a world run by technology. The film explored the concept of smart homes, where everything is easily managed with the click of a button or even voice commands, just like our modern-day homes equipped with our virtual assistant gadgets. The maze car that citizens use to navigate the domed city is such an apt prediction of the monorail. In the film, the citizens were able to manifest a companion of their choice, which, although it sounds quite bizarre, does kind of hint at the concept of online dating in today's world. The primary theme of life under a dome, as the outside world is uninhabitable, appears to predict the climate crisis that we see ourselves heading towards. And with that, we have to wonder, what other sci-fi predictions might come true in the near future? Are we gonna get flying hoverboards or memory implants? Will Mars be our next favorite vacation destination? Or are we just gonna make field trips to the moon for fun's sake? Will there be a war between machines and humans? How about time travel? Is it gonna be a real thing soon? Some thoughts are merry, while others can be eerily discomforting. In the meantime, let us know of some of your favorite fictional predictions of the future in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to never miss out on any of our awesome content. Until next time, I'm Rylan. Have a good one and be safe.